Okay, so at this stage, I'm going to start to form the dough into the 2 loaves. This batch makes 2 loaves. And so these are the things that I'll need. I'll need some more flour. And then I have these proofing bowls with these kind of linen liners. And I'll prep those, get those on there. Okay. And I was baking sourdough for a while before I had any of this official sourdough equipment. So my brother was nice enough to send me a whole sourdough kit. But before I had these, I would use bowls like this, small enough or the right size to fit the loaf so that it wasn't too big or too small. You want it to kind of be about the same size as the loaf. And these are about 1.5 to 2 quart size bowls for this particular recipe. But since I have the cool stuff, I'm going to use that. And this is where I'm going to start flouring the surfaces. I'm going to work on this wooden cutting board to form the dough, and then I'm going to put the dough in these proofing baskets. I'm going to also dust all of these surfaces with flour. So usually what I'll do is I'll kind of start by sprinkling some flour in the bowls, and then as I spread it around, I kind of tap it, spread it around, let some of the extra spill into the next bowl. Okay, so that's pretty well floured, and then I'll let some of the extra spill out onto the cutting board. Okay. And the flour is going to be really helpful in working with the dough, because the dough at this point, at least for me, is still very sticky. So I'm going to just kind of dust that work area. Again, there may be a more scientific or proper way to do this, but at this point I get the dough out. I kind of might work it a little bit, get it out all in one big chunk. Okay, and then I kind of fold it on here, and I use this little pastry knife, I guess, to cut it in half. About half. Never usually super precise, but it works. So cut it in half. So this will be the starting of the 2 loaves. Put that back for now. That other piece soaked up some of the flour, so I'm going to sprinkle again with some flour, and then maybe under here, and then kind of on the surface, because it's still it still sticks to my hands a lot, and you want to make sure it doesn't really stick to your hands too much, and it might, as you pull it up, might still be sticky. So kind of flour that pretty well so that when I grab the dough to work on it, it's not sticking to either my hands or the cutting board. So now I want to kind of shape the dough. I kind of pull it off to the right as far as it'll stretch, and then fold it about halfway in. And then I do the other side the same way. I pull it from the left, fold it over about halfway in, and then I kind of start with the back, pull that back till it doesn't really stretch anymore without breaking, and fold that over. Okay, so now I've got that kind of shape right there, and then I'll kind of scoop under it, and then angle where the top angles down, and just kind of start working it from side to side, because I want to get the surface tension. You notice as you pull really slowly and tightly that the surface tension should be getting tighter and smoother at each pass. And mine never look as good as the other pros that I see doing this on YouTube, but it still turns out really good, and they taste good, and that's really what matters. And my family eats these almost fast so that I can make them. So if they don't look exactly right or like artisan bread, I don't think you'll get too many complaints from your family. But I do try to kind of get them somewhat smooth because then they'll kind of be the right form and shape to kind of cook through. And then sometimes towards the end I'll scoop under and kind of work my way around just to kind of make it a round, as round as possible. And again, these are never perfect, but scoop them out from under. Place that one in the bowl. Don't judge too closely on that. And then kind of do the same thing with the next. And again, super sticky. Flour the surface. Okay. Kind of get under, still pretty sticky under, so kind of make sure the flour under there. Do the same thing here, kind of pull it, stretch it off to the left, fold it about halfway in the middle, and again, or from the right and then to the left. I know my directions. And then this one's looking even messier than the other one before, but again, it'll still taste really good and cook really good, even if you're not perfect. So this one's still a little bit sticky. I'm a lot messier than probably I should be, but that's all right. So kind of just form this one again. Oh, and that's sticking. Kind of, get that. Okay. And then there's like in this one there's this gap, so I'll just maybe try to smooth that out as much as I can. Once it's pretty good, again I'll just kind of work it from underneath to kind of scoop the blade under kind of as I turn it and just try to get it as round as possible, and then scoop it under, place it in the proofing bowl, and then I'll cover it up again until the oven is preheated. My oven takes a while to preheat, so that still gives it time to proof and rise and all the things that bread does.